Hi everyone, it's Wednesday night, which means that I have a few conversations happening this evening. I'm super excited. It's Claudine at Caravan Social Club, and if you're checking this out, I appreciate it. I promise you it will be filled with tons of great information. I'm supposed to be joined this evening by Dr. Rand McClain, who I was supposed to chat with last week, but it didn't work out because sometimes technology isn't the best. So he should be joining me now. I'll just give you a little bit of background on him. Rand McClain is a chief medical officer of LCR Health. He is a leading mind in regenerative and sports medicine using nutrition, progressive therapies, and supplements to optimize the body and improve quality of life. In addition to co-founding LCR Health, a health optimization supplement line, Dr. McClain practices medicine in Santa Monica, California. So he hasn't joined me yet. Thank you so much, Brittany. So he's going to be talking to me about supplements, how to use them. Oh, here he is right now. Awesome. So I'm excited. So Dr. Rand McClain is going to be talking to me about supplements. Hi, it's so lovely to see you.
It's great to finally connect.
I know, thank you. We're wearing a similar color here too.
Well, it wasn't on purpose. I know we didn't talk yet today.
Well, thank you for joining me. I was just giving a little bit of background on you, it's you actually brought the sunshine here to Brooklyn, New York. I know you're out in Santa Monica, and it's a lovely day here in New York.
Well, I'm happy to serve. We got plenty of it here today. Yeah, in Southern Cal most of the year. That's why we pay such heavy taxes.
So tell me a little bit about your supplement line, how you got started with that, and what are some of the ingredients that you can find in that?
Well, we started it because there wasn't much out there with the same attitude. And you say, well, what's a supplement? Come on, they're all supplements. The idea is that we're going to affect the body at the cellular level with most of the ingredients that we work with. So, for example, with agmatine, we're trying to initiate autophagy, which is the cell's process of sort of cleaning up the mess. And another supplement uses something called AC11, which we know can help lengthen telomeres. So instead of attacking it like, hey, here we're going to give you something for weight loss that speeds up your metabolism, for example, which arguably can eventually happen at the cellular level, we're going straight to the source from the start.
So how big is the collection of supplements? Like how many groups of like how many different types do you have to take? How does it work? Do you have to take them in the morning, at night? Like what's a good regimen for someone?
Well, that's a great question. We have about a dozen supplements. We don't have a big product line because they are sort of a specialty product, and you're not going to necessarily want to take all 12. Certainly not all 12 at once. And whether you take them in the morning or night depends upon what you're trying to do. If you're trying to activate what I said earlier, autophagy, you're probably not going to do so first thing in the morning when you're getting revved up and ready to go. Autophagy usually begins the process at nighttime. So we've got a mixed bag, but it's not a big bag because there aren't, unfortunately, a whole lot of options just yet. We're still discovering some of these interesting ingredients.
Got it. And then what do people take these supplements for? Is there an overall supplement that's just good for you to take, or are there ones that are good for weight loss, or just better brain power? Like what would you say the different groups are for?
I would say most of what we do is to optimize health, but we do have, for example, a weight loss product, and I hate to put it in that category because there's so many of them out there, but it works through a certain mechanism. It's called AMPK activation, the same way as metformin works. Metformin is a diabetes drug that is now being used by quote unquote anti-aging experts all over the world because we know that lowering blood sugar is more or less a good thing. Not too low because you die, but to within lower levels so that we don't increase inflammation. Of course, inflammation is associated with cancer. But as a side, you can often lose weight. My deputy chief of police lost 4 belt sizes in about 4 months. again, it's very similar to the way metformin works, which is a drug. You say, why don't you get the drug? Well, a lot of people, first of all, can't get metformin prescribed. Number one. Number two, a lot of people have side effects, and that's often the case with drugs. Which, and in metformin's case, it is borrowed from Mother Nature. It's from a lilac plant. When you get it directly from the source, you tend not to get the side effects. So we have a couple benefits to using our product over the drugs.
And can people just order this? Like, how do they know what works for them? Like, is there some kind of survey on the website, or how do they know what they should take through if they're not in Santa Monica and can't visit with you? Like, how is that set up?
We do our best on the website to explain what the product is for. Unfortunately, or you could argue fortunately, because there are a lot of scamsters out there, the FDA is pretty strict about the claims that you can make. Okay, so we have to be careful that we say can help in reducing blood sugar, for example, rather than, hey, this could treat diabetes. So again, we do our best to explain what the product is for on the website, but we have to pick and choose our words carefully.
And so if someone does want to consult, like, is there anyone that they can like reach out to on DM, or like if they have questions about something, how does the customer get to chat with someone there to kind of say like, is this something good for me? Or, if I might have something going on, is this okay to use? Like for instance, I have two forms of blood clotting disorder. And I have to be so careful with what I take because I take aspirin, like I take a blood thinner every day. So, things like even like chlorella and spirulina, I would love to take that, but they're natural blood thinners, so I have to be careful. But my question is like if it's someone like me who has to kind of look at all the ingredients, or other people out there, is there a way for them to kind of, go to DM and say like, hey, I have questions on here, or get to someone through the website for like a quick consultation before they purchase product?
Again, we have to be careful what we do via the website, and we don't have health practitioners on staff, but we have,
Yep.
I think I'm proud of our customer service staff. The 1-800 number, and yeah, you can get a hold of us through, any other number of the digital methods out there. But again, we do have to be careful what claims we make and how we answer the
Sure,
question.
sure, sure.
Yeah.
But if there's certain ingredients that are in the supplements that might react with something that they have, is there anything in the supplements that anyone needs to be aware of that like certain people shouldn't take for some reason, or is it all pretty safe ingredients?
By and large, they're all safe ingredients. I hate to use the word all in medicine because it's rare you can get away with all or never. Well, arguably in anything, but typically in medicine also. But supplements are generally very, very safe as long as they're processed with what we call GMP, good manufacturing practices. And the ingredients themselves, no, shouldn't conflict with anything you're taking. But that said, the go-to is always talk to your doctor about it first. So
Yeah.
he would be the best source. You say, hey, I'm thinking about, for example, taking AMPK to help lower my blood sugar even more because you've got me on this diabetic medication, metformin. Do I need to take it? He may or she may tell you, sure, you can add it, or no, you're probably just doubling up, no need to do so. And certainly, would guide you as to whether or not something might hurt you.
Sure. And a lot of people gain weight during the pandemic. I know I surely ate a lot of ice cream, I'll admit, and I can see it in my hips. But what are some ways through some of your supplemental programs that you think like is there two products or one product that you think that someone can use to kind of help with some of that?
Yeah, I would use the active PK product I just mentioned. Again, it tends to help with lowering blood sugar, which tends to help increase insulin sensitivity, which oftentimes reduces your appetite and gets you back on track in terms of your newfound exercise program and diet program. Was the ice cream worth it?
Yeah, for sure. I only eat really good ice cream. So yeah, definitely. We have a place near our house it's a French bakery that has ice cream that's like really top notch. So yes, but I definitely need to. My husband makes ice cream that's sugar free in the Vitamix.
Wow.
So we need to do more of that and less of the external ice creams. But I can use your product and potentially that could help get me on the right track as well as others out there that might be having the same type of issues. Because I think that there was a little bit more snacking happening when we were in the house probably during the pandemic.
Well, and that's great. First of all, I'm jealous that you're getting the good homemade ice cream. Maybe you could share some of the recipes, particularly the sugar-free ones. But I'm a big fan of compensating for those things. To go hardcore and never have a treat is kind of silly, but have these options to sort of make up for it. I argue exercise is one of the best equalizers. But if you can't, for whatever reason, do it today or this week, or because of COVID, you're limited, then it's nice to have some other backup choices to again kind of make up for it.
Yeah, and I think it's a good way to jumpstart your program to, like your new program again. A lot of people are still worried about their immune health, obviously, with, going out, we're double masking, we're still making sure that we sanitize. But what can we do? Is there any supplements that you have or anything that you suggest people can do to help boost their immunity?
Well, anything you can do to make yourself healthier is going to help your immunity. When we talk about boosting your immunity, it sometimes can get confusing because really all you can do um, is, well, for example, with a vaccine, sort of ignite your immune system to be aware of something, but to raise it to a higher level is overblown. It really doesn't happen that way. What you typically do is just keep it at the top of its alert status, if you will. We have a couple forms of immunity that we acquire by the time we're in adulthood. And really where we fail is by not getting enough rest, for example, not eating right, not exercising, so that our general health is reduced, which reduces the effectiveness of our immune system. So what we want to do is get back to optimized health, and that will optimize our immune system. There are some exceptions to that where we can tweak it a little bit, but so what I'm getting at with this is just doing all the right things about, getting enough sleep, getting a moderate amount of exercise, and eating right is the best thing you can do. There are some other tricks, making sure you have enough vitamin C, for example, on board, which goes back to making sure you have enough diet, enough in your diet and an adequate diet. But I guess to that point, if were to go extreme with vitamin C, you're not necessarily going to improve your immune system if you've already gotten to the top. The example I use is if you have a car that doesn't have enough oil in it, okay, and then you add some oil to it, well, all of a sudden the car runs a lot better. You go, oh boy, that's the best supplement ever. Well, what about if you have plenty of that supplement already, you got plenty of oil in your car, and you add an extra quart? You're not going to notice any difference. So I hope that helps explain what I mean about health and your immune system. If you need it, certainly going to notice a difference, and you should get more of it. But otherwise, it can be overdone, and you're not really going to get any more benefit out of a certain type of supplement. So you should pick and choose.
And I know everyone is different, but what are there any kind of daily regimens? We spoke about exercise and eating well, but any kind of tips and tricks that you do, doctor, that you would say, this has been a game changer for me, and it could be something that could be helpful universally.
Well, again, I've spent a good portion of my life trying to find certain supplements. I've been a supplement guy my whole life. I take my vitamin C and my B complex, my vitamin D3, and certain basics. But aside from some of the specialized supplements that we've come up with that can help, for example, I mentioned the agmatine for autophagy. One of the things I see most in my practice that gets overlooked, and I think it's partly because of my generation. I'm 58, so I was born in 62. You know, the guys and gals that were champions were always boasting about how little sleep they got. Well, I got 6 last night. Well, I only got 5. Well, I got 3 and I'm still kicking butt. Well, eventually you're not going to. And so one of the biggest things that, and I know it sounds simple, it's not necessarily easy to do though, even in today's world, is getting enough sleep. People take it for granted. We're the only animal that by choice, and I mean choice, like animals that are running from a fire in the middle of the night don't have a choice. We choose not to get enough sleep. And that's where we're doing all the repair work and making use of all those good vitamins or the nutrition that we're taking part in and the exercise, etc. So if we're not getting enough sleep, it kind of goes to waste. So that's one of the biggest things I tell people these days. There's a great book, Why We Sleep, written by Dr. Matthew Walker. We stole him from the UK's up in Berkeley. And I think once anyone reads that book, it will change their life, certainly their perspective in terms of their attitude towards sleep. And it can be a game changer.
Yeah, I know. I think, it has to be a priority. Sleep has to be a priority because sometimes people are like, oh, I'll just take the extra hour and stay on social media. Or, for me, I have a young toddler, so he makes my sleep sometimes get minimized. But, it's like trying to make sure that you have that sleep as much as you can. So true. What is something that is there a quote that you live by or a mantra or something that you think, that you have in your head sometimes, especially when you're developing, you're a successful doctor and then you develop this product line, and I think you're writing a book as well, I hear. So you have a lot going on. So is there any kind of mantra or motto in your head that that rings true regularly to kind of keep you going?
Oh, boy, that's a tough one. I love those little sayings. For me personally, I'd say it's pretty simple. Just never quit. That's an easy
I
one.
love that. That's a good one. That's
Easy.
a very good one. Yeah, so true. So, what do you have on the horizon? What can we look out for from you, from your brand, and see and kind of keep in touch with you and hear what else is going on? What can we expect coming up too?
Well, we have some exciting things that are going on at LCR, the supplement line. We're coming out with some new supplements. We're excited to present. One is for more of what we're emphasizing exercise and exercise recovery and not getting damaged by overtraining. And so hopefully that teases you a little bit to look back to see what we got coming up. In terms of what we're doing in the practice, we have what's called a CRADA, a cooperative research and development agreement with the government, Walter Reed Hospital and the NIH, where we're using stem cells to treat everything from post-concussion syndrome to even COVID-19, using
Oh wow.
our own stem cells and those from not fetal tissue. A lot of people mistake that, but umbilical cord tissue, which is
Yep, yep. I banked my son's stem cells through via cord when he was born
good for you.
because you have that option.
He will be thankful one day. We believe that. It just makes life a lot easier when you have some of your own, which we believe now work better because they actually engraft as opposed to the others, which sort of act as placeholders while they rustle up some of your own from bone marrow. So you've done your son a great service.
And do you think that just a quick off base question, but do they take enough? Like, is there enough in that umbilical cord matter that can actually help later on? Or that's what I'm always curious about. Like, I have them. I feel like I have some insurance for him, for if God forbid he ever needs that. Hopefully he won't, but it's there. But I always like, oh, how do they have enough though?
What's really cool about those is that certainly you have a boatload, so to speak, in the cord itself, particularly in what's called the Wharton's jelly. But there's a certain type of stem cell called a mesenchymal stem cell, which can be replicated. In academia now, I think they can do it about 6 times, but in commercial preparations that we've developed, word is expand them. We can replicate them up to 30 times.
Oh
So
wow.
you'll have a lifetime supply.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's crazy. Yeah, I tell family all the time that that's so important to look into that when they have a child, because it's one of the best things I think you could do, just to have that there,
I
if
wish
they ever need it.
more because you're in the middle of having a baby and they ask you that sort of at the last minute and you're like, and they oftentimes will tell you how much it's going to cost, to store it, which, it's a couple $100 a year usually, which you think, well, okay, what are the odds he's going to use it or she's going to use it and all that kind of stuff. But if we talked about it more, I think you'd see a lot more people doing it because the potential benefits there, whether it's just to stay optimized or actually, God forbid, repair something because
Yeah.
an accident or something. Uh, it's almost magical what they can do, and without having to manipulate them all at all, you just either inject them directly into the area or intravenously, and they know what to do. So, yeah, that's
Wow.
exciting what we have going on.
You just know, yeah. I have a cousin who was, who's paralyzed now, and he had an accident, and a lot of they've been going through a lot of stem cell research. Fortunately, he never had his stem cells, banked because it's back in the 70s. But I think it's so important, if any, if you ever need them. So that's so interesting that you're doing that research. So you have that project, and then you are working on a book, I hear, potentially.
Yeah, I think we're looking at middle of next year. It'll come out with some more ideas about ways to optimize health that we don't normally hear about through the managed care systems. Oftentimes due to the cost or just the what I call the paint by numbers medicine that occurs. So we're going to share those in the book and explain, what options we have, but also ways to do it that aren't going to cost you an arm and a leg.
Yep. Yeah, so true. Because you can do things. We talked about weight, but you can also do brain optimization, I assume, too, with some supplements.
Yeah, we've got, they call them nootropics, right? The supplements that are designed to help with brain power. So, and things that, going back to what we talked about earlier, autophagy has been shown, or a lack of it, to contribute to dementia, Alzheimer's, and other forms of dementia from Lewy bodies and whatnot. So we are tying it all together, and we're finding ways to not only live longer, but live better while we're alive. We call it increased health.
And if you have a senior citizen, like someone that's in their 70s, 80s, is it too late to start on these supplements, or could it still be helpful?
That's another one of my good and easy expressions I like to use. It's never too late. You know, certainly you're not going to bring a hamburger back to a live animal, cow, I guess, in that expression. But seriously, it's never too late. You can always do things to improve your condition. And, while there seem to be at this time limits to how long we can live, there aren't as many limits to how well we can live.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I love that. Well, this has been fascinating. I so appreciate you coming back. I know last week we had some tech issues, but I'm so happy that we were able to chat a bit today. We'll be pushing this out and sharing your collection of supplements with everybody in our community. I'm so fascinated by anything that can really optimize our health. So this has been so interesting, small tidbits, but I hope people will go over to your website and learn more about your work and about your collection, and then watch out for your book too in the future.
Well, thank you very much. It's been my pleasure.
Yes, great spending some Wednesday with you.
Likewise. Thank you very much.
Bye, Dr. Ann.
Bye now.